We cover, in this video, 18 other deadliest pandemics similar to COVID-19, which almost swipes the universe within a few months. The outbreak of this deadly disease was so horrifying, awful, and disastrous both on human lives and on the world's economy. Again, the control seemed difficult. However, there are other 18 deadliest pandemics like coronavirus, COVID-19, which you can better understand from this video. Antonine Plague. Antonine Plague or Plague of Galen is an ancient pandemic from 165 to 180 AD spread across the Roman empires by campaign troops from the Near East. It was caused by smallpox and measles and killed up to 2,000 people daily. The total estimate of the lives lost through the pandemic period was 5 million. The Justinian Plague. The Plague of Justinian, in other words, the Justinianic Plague of 541 to 542 AD killed 30 to 50 million people, according to the estimate. It's an initial ancient plague pandemic in the world caused by Yersinia pestis, a gram-negative, Coccobacillus bacterium, the Black Death. A disastrous pandemic that outbroke suddenly in 1347, and spread across Asia and Europe. It ended in 1352 through quarantine implementation. This devastating pandemic resulted in the death of 75 to 200 million Eurasians and North African people. New World Smallpox. Smallpox is a deadly epidemic, native to New World tribe which attacked the Aztec Empire from the coast of Mexico from 1520, an unknown year. The virus killed off as much as 25 to 55 million Mexican inhabitants and caused incapacitation on many others. Italian Plague. The pandemic hit the Italian northern and central hemisphere, mainly the provincial towns and large cities from 1629 to 1631. Italian Plague, also known as the Great Plague of Milan, wiped off up to 1 million lives within that period, which is equivalent to 25% of the Italian population. Great Plague of London. London faced the last major bubonic pandemic, Great Plague, outbreak from 1665 to 1666, which resulted from a bacterial infection, Yersinia pestis. The total estimate for the number of deaths was roughly 75,000 to 100,000, just about 15 to 20% of the city's total population. Third Plague Pandemic. The third major bubonic pandemic plague started in 1885 in the Yunnan region, China, hence caused multiple outbreaks in 1772. According to reports, it spread across Hong Kong through Canton and killed, and claimed possibly 12 million lives. Russian flu. Russian or Asiatic flu pandemic of 1889 to 1890 was the last great plague of the 19th century that claimed 1 million lives across the globe. The symptoms of influenza include a high fever of 104 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius, headache, itchiness, and dry cough, which results in sore throat and nasal congestion as fever subsides. Yellow fever. Yellow fever is another deadly plague that struck up to 150,000 people in South America and Africa during the late 1800s. The viral infection was spread by a particular mosquito vector through the central parts of the areas mentioned above. 1918 flu. An unusual severe pandemic, also called Spanish flu, which resulted from influenza A virus, subtype H1N1. It's lasted from February 1918, August 1920 and affected one-third of the world's population, which is about 50 million deaths. Asian flu. Asian flu or 1957 to 1958 influenza pandemic. 1957 to 1958 was global influenza A H2N2 virus plague of Guizhou, China origin. The flu pandemic spread through the U.S. with variations of disease susceptibility killing up to 1 million across the globe. Hong Kong flu. The outbreak of the Hong Kong flu, 1968 flu pandemic, occurred on July 13 and lasted till 1970 with 1 million mortality rate worldwide. It was a remarkable, disastrous disease in the 20th century, marked as the third great influenza plague. SARS outbreak. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS-CoV, was identified in November 2002, in Foshan, Guangdong, China as a result of the SARS-associated coronavirus. It's a viral respiratory illness thought to have come into being from an animal reservoir and lasted till May 2004 with less than 1,000 death records. MERS. The Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS-CoV of 2015, relates to coronavirus that transmits between people and animals. According to history, its first outbreak happened in September 2012 in Saudi Arabia, and then spread across 27 countries with less than 1,000 mortality rates. HIV/AIDS. HIV/AIDS is a vulnerable pandemic with a global effect first discovered in a San Francisco resident in 1981 and currently exists. The transmission is becoming widespread through blood transfusion, vaginal fluid or semen. It has claimed up to 35 million lives so far. Swine flu. Pig influenza, swine flu, or H1N1 virus was discovered as a human pandemic in 2009, though the initial recognition was in 1919. Millions of people were infected, thus, 200,000 lives were lost from January 2009, August 2010 during the virus outbreak. Ebola virus. Ebola virus disease made headlines in 2014 to 2016 with a fatal illness that led to the death of 11,000 people in totality, as roughly estimated. Ebola virus disease, EVD, also called Ebola hemorrhagic fever, first outbreak in Democratic Republic of the Congo before spreading across Sierra Leone and numerous African countries. COVID-19. The coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19, is a contagious disease that emerged from China in early December 2019 and became globally widespread in 2020. An estimated number of 70,798 lives, as of April 6, was claimed by this deadly pandemic, as medical experts continue to take harsh measures to stop the fast-moving pathogen. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this.